Have you ever felt an unexplained emptiness, as if nature itself were holding its breath? In the heart of the African savannah, Jonas experienced something that changed his soul forever. It was a peculiar morning in the Limpopo Valley, South Africa, where silence screamed louder than any roar. No wind, no birds singing, not even the gentle rustle of leaves, just a profound silence weighing heavily on his chest. Jonas, a simple man who lived off the land, awoke with an unusual ache in his heart, as if the universe itself was calling him outside. He set aside his cane, something he never did, and followed an instinct he couldn't quite name. The dry scent of hot earth filled his nostrils, and even the sun seemed to pause on the horizon, sensing what was about to unfold. Have you ever felt a strong intuition pulling you irresistibly, like an invisible magnet? Jonas felt exactly that. He had no idea that, just a few steps away, nature was about to reveal an unforgettable animal drama, a powerful encounter between life and death, loyalty and sacrifice. At its center was a lion, not just any lion, but an unlikely hero whose actions would change everything. Can you believe an animal could carry destiny in its paws? Stay with me, because what happened that morning will leave you utterly speechless. Imagine the absolute silence of the savannah, as if the world were waiting for something extraordinary. So, what exactly was Jonas about to discover? Jonas walked across the dry ground of the Limpopo Valley, his heart beating like distant drums. The scorching sun made the air shimmer, and the smell of burnt grass filled his lungs. He didn't know why his feet kept moving forward, but something in the savannah's silence seemed to whisper, "Keep going." Then he saw it, deep, wide tracks, unlike anything he knew. They weren't from zebras or antelopes. They were heavy, as if the earth had buckled under some unearthly weight. Ever felt that shiver that says something huge is coming? Jonas did. He crouched, touching the hot soil, and a chill ran up his spine. Fresh tracks from big predators, like lions or rhinos, can signal recent presence and imminent danger, something Jonas, attuned to nature, knew well. When you're in unfamiliar territory, pay attention to the signs around you. Sometimes, nature speaks before danger strikes. What could those tracks mean? The feeling in Jonas's gut grew, like the silent forest was hiding a secret. He followed the tracks, the sound of his own steps echoing like a lone beat. The savannah, usually alive with buzzing insects, felt like a frozen painting. Nothing moved, except a sleek shadow in the distance. Jonas squinted, sweat dripping down his forehead. It was as if the universe was aligning the pieces for an epic moment. Who hasn't felt like something bigger is about to unfold? He took another step, and then, a snap. Dry leaves crunched under something heavy. His heart raced. Close your eyes and imagine, you're alone, and something unseen is watching you. What would you do? Suddenly, the ground seemed alive. A hiss sliced the air, and before Jonas could react, the attack came. 3 giant pythons, their scales gleaming like bronze under the sun, lunged at him. One coiled around his legs, another around his torso, and the third gripped his chest and neck. The air fled his lungs, and the world began to spin. Pythons don't kill with venom but with sheer force. They can crush bones with up to 90 pounds of pressure per square inch. Jonas, trapped, felt life slipping away. In a crisis, stay calm and look for a way out, even if it feels impossible. Sometimes, help comes from the last place you expect. How would he escape this? The air in the savannah felt charged, like nature itself was holding its breath. Jonas, still bound by the pythons, felt the cold weight of their scales against his skin, the metallic smell of fear mixing with sweat. Suddenly, a new sound broke the silence, steady, heavy steps, like the earth itself was paying respect. A majestic lion emerged from the low brush, its golden fur glowing under the timid sun rays. Its amber eyes locked onto Jonas, and for a moment, it felt like they shared a silent understanding. Male lions can weigh up to 550 pounds, but their true power lies in their presence. A single glance can intimidate even the boldest predators. Ever had a moment where an animal seemed to see right through you? Jonas did, and his heart, nearly stilled, gave a leap. Trust your instincts in a crisis. They might guide you to salvation, even from the most unexpected source. The lion didn't roar, but each step sent dust dancing, carrying the faint scent of dry grass. The pythons, sensing the threat, tightened their grip on Jonas, their bodies rippling in alert. The forest's oppressive silence now pulsed with energy. The lion stopped a few feet away, its mane swaying like a living crown. Picture the scene: a man on the edge of death, a lion that seems to know exactly what to do. What would you do face to face with such a powerful creature? Jonas, his vision blurring, wondered if this lion was a hero sent by the wild itself. The tension was building, setting the stage for an epic clash. The snakes hissed, challenging the newcomer, but the lion stood firm, muscles taut under its gleaming fur. Lions use silence as a weapon, moving with precision before striking, saving energy for the perfect moment. Ever seen someone wait for just the right second to act? The lion stepped forward, eyes locked on the python crushing Jonas's neck. It was as if it knew every second counted. The savannah seemed to watch, waiting. Something big was coming. If you love thrilling animal stories, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single one. Could a lone lion take on 3 giant pythons? And at what cost? The savannah erupted into chaos, the air thick with fierce growls and sharp hisses. The lion, a raw force of the wild, lunged at the python, loosening its grip on Jonas, its claws slicing the air with a whistling snap. The smell of churned earth mixed with the sun's heat, which seemed to watch the animal drama like a silent judge. Jonas, his chest still constricted, could barely breathe, but his eyes caught every move, the lion biting the python with fangs that gleamed like blades. A lion's bite can deliver up to 650 pounds of force per square inch, enough to crush bones or thick scales. Ever seen something so brutal yet so precise? Jonas, caught between pain and hope, felt this animal savior was more than flesh and bone. In tense moments, focus on what you can control. Sometimes, just watching and waiting opens a path to rescue. The second python, still coiled around Jonas's legs, tried to strike back, its body whipping like a living lash. The lion spun, fast as lightning, and landed a paw strike that echoed like thunder. Dust rose, carrying the dry scent of trampled grass, and for a moment, Jonas felt the grip on his legs loosen. Stop and picture it, a lion against 2 pythons, fighting not for food but for a life. Ever wondered what drives an animal to risk everything for a stranger? The lion seemed driven by an instinct that defied logic. Jonas, his vision fading, whispered a prayer, as if the universe was orchestrating this rescue. The third python, the most aggressive, still crushed Jonas's chest, its cold eyes fixed on the lion. The feline, its mane dusted with dirt, let out a low growl, almost a lament, before attacking again. Claws and fangs clashed against scales in a brutal showdown that shook the ground. Lions rarely face multiple foes alone, but when they do, their courage can spark legends. Would you have the guts to take on such uneven odds? Jonas, nearly unconscious, saw the lion rip the python from his chest with a precise strike. He breathed, finally, but the fight wasn't over. The lion, panting, had fang marks on its flank, blood dripping onto the dry earth. It staggered but didn't quit, facing the last python with a fierce glint in its eyes. Jonas, now free, fell to his knees, his heart racing with gratitude. Would the lion win, and at what price? The savannah's ground shook with the final moments of the clash, the air heavy with the smell of blood and dust. The lion, now wounded, faced the last python with a strength that seemed to defy death itself. Its claws slashed the air, and the sound of tearing scales mixed with the hoarse roar rumbling in the feline's chest. Jonas, finally free, collapsed to his knees, his body aching but alive, feeling the rough heat of the earth under his hands. Lions can fight even when gravely injured, driven by an instinct that goes beyond survival, almost like a code of honor. Ever seen someone fight for something bigger than themselves? Jonas, gasping, looked into the lion's eyes and felt a weight. This animal was giving everything for him. Value those who sacrifice for you, even quietly. Those acts can change lives. The last python, weakened, tried one final strike, but the lion overpowered it with a precise bite, ending the fight. The snakes, defeated, slithered into the silent forest, leaving only the sound of their scales dragging through the brush. The lion, though, staggered, its bloodied flank dripping onto the dry ground. Jonas, tears in his eyes, crawled to its side. Imagine being so close to a hero who just saved your life, only to see them collapse. What would you say? The lion looked at Jonas, its amber eyes glowing with a calm that felt otherworldly, as if it knew its mission was done. Then, with a final roar, powerful but laced with pain, the lion fell. Silence returned to the savannah, but it was different now, like nature was mourning. Jonas touched the still warm fur, feeling the animal's heart stop under his fingers. In some African cultures, lions are seen as spiritual guardians, linking the physical and divine worlds. Ever thought about what makes a being give its life for another? Jonas, heartbroken, realized this moment was more than a fight. It was a sign from the universe, a lesson etched in his soul. How do you carry the weight of such a sacrifice? Jonas stayed kneeling beside the lion, its body still warm under his trembling hands. The savannah's silence returned, but it carried a different weight now, not tension, but reverence. A soft breeze blew, carrying the fresh scent of distant leaves, as if nature offered a timid comfort. Jonas stroked the lion's mane, each rough strand telling a story of courage. Lions are symbols of strength in many cultures, but their acts of sacrifice, like protecting a stranger, echo in legends that span generations. Ever felt a moment change who you were forever? Jonas knew he'd never see the wild the same way again. He wiped a tear, his heart heavy with gratitude and sorrow. Honor the moments that transform you. Sometimes, a simple act, like remembering, keeps the memory of those who made a difference alive. The forest, once quiet, began to stir. A bird sang in the distance, the hum of insects returned, as if the savannah celebrated the victory and mourned the loss at once. Jonas looked to the sky, where the sun now shone steadily, warming his battered skin. He thought of the lion, its final roar, and felt something bigger at play, a silent sacrifice that seemed orchestrated by the universe. Close your eyes and feel it, the weight of a life saved, the cost of a hero. What would you carry from this? Jonas knew that lion wasn't just an animal but a symbol of loyalty he'd carry forever. Ever had an animal change how you see the world? Jonas stood, legs weak but spirit strong. He vowed to tell this story, not for glory, but to honor the lion that became his savior. He looked at the lion's tracks, still etched in the earth, and saw a map of courage. How would you honor someone who changed your life? Jonas returned to the village, carrying the story of a lion that faced death for him. The savannah was no longer just a wild place, it was a stage for miracles. The African savannah pulsed with life again, as if the lion's sacrifice had rekindled its heart. Jonas walked back to the village, his body scarred but his soul transformed. The distant sound of a flowing river mixed with the heat rising from the earth, a reminder that nature moves on, even after its greatest lessons. He carried a gripping story in his heart, a vivid tale of courage and loyalty he'd never forget. Stories of animal saviors, like lions or elephants, are common in African cultures, often seen as signs of a deeper connection. Ever stop to think what an animal might teach you about life? Jonas knew that lion wasn't just an ordinary creature, it was a hero, a sign from the universe that changed his fate. Carry the lessons of others, even an animal, into your life. A single act of courage can inspire you to face your own challenges. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Jonas vowed to share this story with everyone he met. The fight for survival, the brutal clash between lion and snakes, and the silent sacrifice were etched in his soul. Imagine carrying gratitude so deep it changes how you see the world. How would you honor it? He knew the savannah held more mysteries, but that day, that lion, was a chapter unlike any other. And you, have you ever had an animal change your life? Share it with us in the comments. This story of a lion that faced death for a stranger reminds us that courage and loyalty know no bounds, not even between species. If this story warmed your heart, the next video YouTube suggests will move you even more, don't miss it. And if you believe nature has lessons to teach us, give this a like and subscribe for more stories like this. After all, Who knows what other heroes the wild is hiding?